Hi everybody, it's Marcy, and I'm here working on Dear Julie Julie's July Junk Journal Challenge. And today I'm working on pockets, but before I move on to that, I want to show you what I got done on my tags. In my last video, I was working on the 11 assorted tags. And I can't remember which ones you've already seen, but I got all of my assorted tags done. And let's see. These were all made using Christmas cards as the base. This one had some of, well, actually it was left over from this one, and there was just a little bit left. So I had a playing card that had this polar bear on it and happiness cut out from one of the card backs where the sentiment was. So I did that. This one, I used the back side of a card that I'd already cut up. And then some scrapbook paper. I think this is authentic, but all I have left are some little cutouts, so I'm not sure. So I did that one. And then these two, I used some of my green hanging file folder that I had left over from when I'd been doing my daisy journal. And again, some of the same cutouts as in this one to make those tags. So those were my 11 assorted tags. And then I went ahead and I made my 6 large tags, again, using Christmas cards. And some of these, like that one, well, a lot of them, they are huge tags. This one I actually left open as that's got a little pocket in it. And that is so large, that could easily be hinged onto another page and actually become a page in a journal. And then we've got that one, again, Christmas card front. And that one, I had, let's see if I can find another piece of it. I've got these medical supply boxes, and what I like to do, and it gave me kind of a fluffy, snowy looking leftover, is I like to try to grab the corner edge. Number one, it thins them out a little bit, and peel up the shiny side. And you get this lovely, speaking of insulin pump supplies, my pump is fussing at me, but it gives you a lovely textured look to it, and it thins it out a little bit. So that's what I like to do with those. And that's what I did here, and then put card base on front of it. Just got a plain back side. Kept this pretty simple. Sewed around it. It has lots of glitter on it, so I didn't think it needed much. And this one, again, I think this could become pretty much a page in a journal, either as a tip-in or hinged, and added another full sheet on the other side of the signature. That one is pretty simple. I used the back side of a card and left the sentiment there. And then I added scrapbook paper and a scrapbook cutout there with some ribbon bows on it, sewed around it. And here we've got the front of the Christmas card. I added scrapbook paper on the back, a really big pull tab. So those are my large tags, my 6 large tags. All right. So, wasted enough time doing that. So let me get these put away. I'm trying to keep them all separate because I still need to photograph them for the challenge. And now I am working on pockets. And I've made a couple. Here I used Christmas card front again, stitched around it, put a thumb hole here, inked around it, put a little trim on the bottom of it, and that will be a side loading pocket. Here I used, and what I'm going to be doing today, for the most part, I used one of the Christmas card envelopes. It had this great image on it, so I just inked around it. I cut the envelope, which I'll show you how I'm doing that in just a moment, and then just added a couple of other ephemeris things, and that's ready to go in as a little pocket. And I kind of like these for the smaller pockets just because they're not as thick as the Christmas cards, and whatever pocket I have is, whatever I put into the pocket is already going to bulk up the journal some. So if I can keep the pockets kind of thin, why not? Okay, so the first one I want to do is going to be more like this one. But, so what I want to do is take this card and I'm going to take the back off, and I'm going to cut it just in front of where that back line is. Put that over there in my stack. And I think what I want to keep is this part right here. So I'm going to flip that around. And for any journal I'm going to make, I'm probably not going to want it to be any wider than 5 inches. So I'm going to cut that right there. I can hang on to that. And again, that would make a great another little tag. And how tall did I leave that? 5.5. So for this one, I think I'm going to put the thumb hole on this side. And I'm going to 5.5, so 2 3/4. I just like to make a little tick mark where my center is. My thumb hole still is not going to be perfect center, but I find that I do much better doing it that way. Sorry, I'm trying to find my 2-inch hole punch. I find that I do much better by at least marking it, so I get much closer to roughly center if I go ahead and mark it. All right. And because this is such a big pocket, I want to use a bigger thumb hole on it. So we've got that. And I'm still using my Stormy Sky on these. Right now, the only ink colors I have pulled out are my Stormy Sky, my Festive Berries, and my Vintage Photo. That's what I haven't pulled out a green yet. Okay. Now, I'm going to want to obviously cover that up just because I cut that off, so I wonder, these most likely would not go in the same journal, so Where did my ribbon go? All right. If we take this, this really won't show much, but the trim I'm going to use is pretty see-through, so actually I might want to, let's see, what trim do I want to use? Maybe we'll use something a little different on this one, just to be a little different. Yeah, I think that'll work. All right. So I'm going to grab my Fabri-Tac. And the first thing I'm going to do is put my blue ribbon across. And again, this is not absolutely necessary by any means. I don't want the partial words to show through the lacy trim. All right, now we'll put some Fabri-Tac on top of that. And put that down there. Now, I have some words, some phrases. And these words and phrases are Mrs. Cogg's Christmas phrases. Oh. Yeah, I kind of like that. Dashing through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh. Over the fields we go, laughing all the way. Okay, well, they've got 2 horses, but so throw a little bit of ink around that. And glue this down. I was looking, before I turned the camera on, I was looking at the list of stuff for this challenge. And it's so funny. And this is not the first time this has happened. But as you count it, the idea was count down to the finish for unfinished journals and so on and so forth. But I counted the number of different things that you actually have to make. 98. I think the last one we did that somebody counted was like 84. So now that does include binding a journal, but when you count, and like the 14-inch snippet, I just counted as one, even though it was 14 inches, it's just one item. So 98 different things you need to make. And it's like, that is a challenge. Okay. So now the only other thing I will do to this right now, or for this, is I will go in and sew around the top, this back edge, and across the bottom. I won't sew here because that'll be my opening. And there we've got a pocket done and ready to go. And I said it in my last video, but it bears repeating that these, I am keeping them relatively simple as far as the decoration goes, because I don't have a specific journal for them to go into yet. And I want to have a little bit of room, like if I wanted to add a little more bling or something to it. I don't want it to already be so full and so thematically decorated that I can't add something to it to pull it together for cohesiveness in whatever journal it may go in. Okay. So this is an envelope from one of the Christmas cards. I haven't used the card yet, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make a pocket out of this card. So I'm going to open that flap because it's got this great snowflake on it, and I don't want to lose that. And I am going to make this pocket 3 3/4 inches tall. So I'm just going to cut right across there, and then I've still got that great flap. Put it over here in my little scrap box so I can add it to something. And then I think okay, if I allow the pocket to be 4 3/4, but I'm going to cut it at 5 1/4. All right, so I've got that little bit left over. Now, I'm just going to use my cutting gutter. I'm going to scoot that over 1/2 inch. And score that. I'm just scoring it so I can see where I want to cut. So I'm going to come to the back side, and I'm going to first cut at that bottom seam into my score line, and then I'm going to cut up the back. Do a very good job on that. And this does not have to be perfectly cut. I'm just going to trim it a little bit because I'm afraid I left it so that it'll double up. Okay. Then my leftover flap, I'm going to miter the corners. This will all be on the back of the envelope, or the back of the pocket rather. So no perfection required. And then flip it over. And that gives me, one of the pockets that gives me the back side, so I get some more give in my pocket. All right, so before I glue it, again, I'm going to take out, okay, I left it 4 3/4, so 2 3/8 would be my center. I'm going to use this little scrap here to give give it a little bit of thickness. My circle punch doesn't like cutting through lightweight paper, so give it a little bulk to cut through, and it cooperates much better. Okay, so just a little thumb hole there. And while I've got it still open, go ahead and ink around my edges. All right. And pull my glue out. Glue my little flap down. All right, so now what do I want to put on there? To meet Julie's requirements, I need at least 2 more things, because I did my distress inking, so I've got that. So I'm looking through some of these Mrs. Coggs phrases again. I'm trying my dead level best to that might work. Just use what I've already got cut out. I love this one. Dear Santa, I can explain. I love that one. Jack Frost could work. Okay. So we'll add one of those, and then I'm going to dig into, I don't think I have, nope, that's not the one. I don't think I have anything in here that's going to be bluish. Oh, maybe. It's going to be too big, though. Yeah, that would take up the whole thing. So let's keep digging. That stamp has a little bit of blue in it. Doesn't really go real well, but what else do I have? Got this little stamp, but that snowman doesn't look very happy to me. Yeah, no. Huh. This is the one difficult thing about, for me, about doing these a little earlier than I normally do, in that I don't have all the stuff pulled out and cut out, sorry, that I normally would. Maybe I could just do something and just sort of collage it together. Let's see, it may not be my favorite pocket in the world, but maybe it will be too. Okay, so. Sorry, my pump's fussing at me again. Okay, I think it should leave me alone for a little bit now. All right. I think I'll put a little vintage photo around this stamp. Okay. All right. So just make it kind of a hodgepodge collage kind of thing. And this image that I'm gluing right now is Tsunami Rose. If you're not familiar with Tsunami Rose, and I will try to put a link at the bottom, she has, as far as having, I believe her, let me look. That way I don't have to believe, I can just tell you. She's not on, well, it is, I'll put her link at the below. She's got like a standalone store through Etsy, but I don't know that you can actually find her if you go into Etsy to search. But as far as just digital ephemera stuff to fussy cut, she probably has one of the larger selections that I've seen. I mean, just all sorts of stuff. And she cuts most, if not all, of her stuff on the scan and cut. And so her images are built to be cut on the scan and cut, which I use, and that makes it very nice. Okay, so there again, just kind of a hodgepodge mess of a pocket, but it's cute. It's got a variety of things to look at. I drew in the blue, a little bit of blue there. So I'm fine with that. And again, I can add a little bit of lace to it later on or something like that. All right. So now I have 4 of my 9 pockets done. And in my next video, I'll show you all the rest of them that I finish up. But I hope this maybe gives you a couple of ideas. Whether you're doing Christmas or anything else. I think the most of the rest of mine, if not all of them, will be done using envelopes. And some of them, like this envelope, these envelopes go with these cards, but they're large enough that I should be able, I think, to get a pocket going, that basically cut it in half and get a couple of pockets. We'll see. One of the pockets may be like a side loading little pocket, but we'll see. So anyway, that's it for now, guys. Please be safe, stay healthy, happy crafting, and I will talk to you all very, very soon. Bye-bye.